Hello, True Duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report. The video I make sometimes when there are too many new cards to include in the regular update, and this week I only have to make one. No, I do not play Super Heavy Samurai. You got me. Still, there were plenty of cards revealed from Cyberstorm Access this week, but not so many that I need two videos. That's the same joke twice. Good job, proofreading. Praise be to Xenu, because good Christ, it's almost Christmas and I need to do shopping still, let alone make videos. So let's get going with it. I'll get to my shopping, you get to your watching, and let's get onto those new cards. Starting off by upholding one of the oldest and saddest traditions that I've seen online, a white guy butchering the pronunciation of a Japanese word. Or I believe this one's Japanese. Shit, I'm so ignorant, I don't even know. Let's just try it. Here we go. Sword Emperor Sumu. Oh no. Sumu Hakut Tsunagi. Sumu Hakut Nutsagi? I'm going to apologize for that one. Please don't cancel me in the comments. I'm literally illiterate. Moving on from that, and apologies, because holy fuck. This is a level 11 wind attribute warrior type spirit monster. That's right, spirit support in the year 2023. Talk about a surprise for the old duck. This card has the standard spirit effect that it cannot be special summoned, and will return to the hand on the end phase of the turn in which it is normal summoned or flip face up. But what do you get for flip summoning or normal summoning a level 11? Its effect will allow the opponent to send any number of cards they control to the grave so that each player can draw the same number of cards sent. Which obviously they probably don't want to do, because who wants to give the opponent free advantage? So what you do is you force them with the other effect this card has, to return all cards that are banished in the graveyards and on both sides of the field back into the deck. That's happening at the end phase, so you can just choose to send your cards to the grave now and draw some cards to recuperate. That's basically the summary of this card's effect, which is cool. Seems pretty insane if we're being honest. Fiber Jar Light, if you will. It just requires you to tribute 2 monsters. Will it see play? Almost certainly never in any competitive format. But it might reset part of an FTK for some of those absurd YouTube videos. You know, the types that feature duels that exist more as an example of time theft than an example of playing the game. Or hell, it might not even show up there. Either way, it's a cool looking piece of binder fluff, so kudos on the art, I guess. Solfachord are also getting support in this set, with 2 cards confirmed so far. First up is a new Link 3, Grand Solfachord Quickplay. Pretty cool. Cool, I like it. Kill me, this one needs any 2 or more monsters, including a pendulum monster as material, and will gain 100 attack for each face-up card in your extra deck. Wow! Big dirty beater? Not really, no. It'll probably be around a solid 3k reliably, and maybe in late game it'll be bigger than that, but it's not great, not terrible. This makes it so that pendulum monsters' effects that it points to are unable to be negated, and has a native deck omni-negate of sorts. That's pretty cool. If the opponent activates a card or effect, you can summon an odd-scaled Solfachord from your pendulum zone to a zone this card points to, and then negate the effect and add an evenly scaled Solfachord from your deck to your face-up extra deck. It has the same janky scale shenanigans that Solfachord? Yeah, Solfacards do. But, I mean, it's a solid generic negate for that deck. That's got to be decent in that archetype, right? Hell if I know, I don't play that deck. So, if nothing else, it's got solid arrows. And, you know, keeps your... Oh, I forgot the name of the card. Skull Crobat. Performapal Skull Crobat Joker. That effect will go through when you normal summon it to its zone. So, holy. And if that's not enough, it's a Gorl. Whoa, with the lady on that card. I can't wait to buy it. You know what, honestly, that's fair. As long as that excites, if that excites you, power to you. It's better than whatever it is that excites Witchcrafter players. You know what we do around here when it comes to that sort of thing. Witchcrafter players, We beat him in duels constantly. That deck fucking sucks. Fuck you, gun. There you go, it made his cameo. Solfachord Symphonia is a new quick play spell whose effects are dependent on the number of differently named Solfachord monsters face up in your extra deck, applying them in sequence so long as you have enough of them. So if you've got 3 or more, all Solfachord monsters you control will gain attack equal to 300 times their pendulum scale. Wow. If you've got 5 or more differently named, it'll destroy a card on the field, and as if you've got an odd-scaled Solfachord in your pendulum zone, it will let you draw a card. Conditional pluses, let's go! And the big bad effect, if you've got 7 differently named Solfachords, you can summon a Grand Solfachord from your extra deck. And with that new one, that means 3 linked zones to Pendulum 2 on top of negate access. Not too shabby, see? It's almost like the cards were designed in tandem, meant to be played together. Crazy how archetypes do that. Too bad it requires you to have 7 names in your face-up extra deck. I imagine more often than not, this will be a pop and hopefully a draw if it sees play. One of these cards seems better than the other one. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not the one that is sometimes better, but sometimes worse than Rush Recklessly. Most interestingly for me this past week has been the reveal of support for both the Constellar and Satellarknight archetypes all in one, unifying the decks in a way that's more than just one specific Xyz monster printed in like 2015. Up first is Tellarknight Altea, who is always treated as a Constellar card. There you go, it's both. On summon, it targets cards on the field up to the number of light and dark attribute monsters you control and pops them. And I believe that's Xyz monsters. Good job, person who wrote this script, that's me! It can also summon itself from your grave if a Tellarknight or Constellar monster is special summoned to your field, which is pretty decent. Interesting to see what Altair got up to post-Duelist Alliance. Maybe. It's blue, and it has Tellar in the name. That's Altair in my books. Tellarknight Lyra is pink, and therefore it's Vega 2.0. It is also always treated as a Constellar card and can summon itself from your hand if a Tellarknight or Constellar monster is normal summoned to your field. Neat how they cover 2 areas and 2 summoning types. Again, synergy within an archetype. My god. Oh, and it also searches a Tellarknight spell from deck to hand on summon, which, similar to Altea. That's decent right there. And speaking of Tellarknight spells to search, both Tellarknight and Constellar got one in the form of Tellarknight Constellar. Yep, that's the name of the card. Tellarknight Constellar. Just 2 archetypes. An equivalent name would be Gladiator Beast Firefist. Very inspired, Konami, I'm impressed. This continuous spell lets you summon a Constellar or Tellarknight from your hand or graveyard on activation, and once per turn can target a Tellar or Constellar Xyz you control to Xyz summon a Tellar or Constellar Xyz monster from your extra deck with a different rank using the first targeted monster as material. It's easy access to M7, don't mind if I do. That horrendous use of my hands that I will never be able to forget aside, it's Con/Tellar World Legacy Guard Dragon that can also summon from the hand, so, you know, I must be James from the end scene of Pokemon the Movie 2000, The Power of One, because that's good! And lastly, we've got a new Xyz as well. Tellarknight Constellar Codicus? I'm going with it. The second worst reminder of how much better Tellarknight would be as a name after, of course, Diamond. This guy needs 2 or more level 4s to Xyz summon, and on Xyz summon can target 1 Constellar card and or 1 Tellarknight card in your grave and add them to your hand. Nice! So a potential +1 in recovery right there. And it can banish a Tellar or Constellar monster from your deck and detach a material so that its activated effect becomes the banished monster's on summon effect. This means that you could activate Deneb's Search through this means, or Altair's Summon from the graveyard, or whatever else you might want. Talk about versatile. That right there you can use to activate Constellar Virgo's effect finally. I'm kidding, of course. That card fucking sucks and will never see play. All in all, it seems like a solid handful of cards to help out what I always called baby's first deck. Stellar Knights. And Constellar too, but one of those decks is older, and besides Pleiades, Constellar wasn't much of a note beyond a cool art style, I suppose. So I'm just going to say it's Stellar Knight support and move on. But if you do play Constellar and exist, good for you, buddy. I'm proud of you. And for random one-offs this week, we start with Libromancer. Yes, everyone's least imaginative joke name for a deck, Libromancers. The Libromancer origin is a continuous spell as well. Apparently that's the theme for spells this week. That on activation can set any Libromancer spell or trap from your deck, except for a copy of itself. It also gives all Libromancer ritual monsters you control attack equal to 100 times their own level. That's right, Libromancer now has a native answer to Burden of the Mighty. Now this is power creep. Oh, and it can also target and destroy a spell or trap the opponent controls the first time you would ritual summon a Libromancer monster each turn. So basically all this does is search the archetype, spell, and traps. So, cool. That's gotta be useful, right? It's not bad. And then there's Infinitrack Road Roller. It's a good name. I support that name. A new level 5 for Earth Machines to use. It can summon itself from the hand or graveyard if an Earth Machine is tributed or banished face up, but will be banished when it itself leaves the field if summoned this way. It also has an effect as Xyz material for an originally typed machine type Xyz monster, what a fucking sentence, which is to change all face-up monsters the opponent controls to defense, and then they lose 1,000 defense. That's as long as it is a material on a machine Xyz. Fancy stuff. That seems playable for the summoning effect alone. I don't know a whole lot about Earth Machine as a deck and Infinitrack broadly, because, well, the only thing longer than an Earth Machine combo is a tutorial video explaining that Earth Machine combo. It looks cool, it looks fun, it's probably inexpensive, and maybe one day when I'm desperate, I'll give it a shot. But until then, I will refrain from commenting. It's an extender. Surely that's playable if nothing else. I'm giving it the good status now. If you correct me in the comments, I will ignore you. I already said my opinion, and that's the truth now. We can't go, if I'm wrong, that means I'm lying, and that means I can't be the news guy, and that's bad. So instead, everyone just wrap your opinions around mine and adjust, and then it's cool and we're good. Sounds good. On to the next one. And also this week is a new toy from the OCG Secret Utility Box. That's right, this week's fusion of two wholly unrelated archetypes comes from Neos and Armed Dragon. And while some may comment that it makes sense because it's the rival and the main guy team up from the anime, not only do I not care, but also who asked? Not me. And regardless, it doesn't change the fact that this shit doesn't work. Hell, it doesn't even work with itself. This card needs Neo specifically and any Armed Dragon monster as material, and it has two effects. The first one lets you choose a dragon monster in your grave, and then destroys all monsters your opponent controls with a level equal to or lower than the selected monsters. So, discount Regeki, but still a Regeki-esque effect, so sure. The other effect is that if it destroys a monster by battle, it'll gain the effect to quick effect tribute itself during the main phase to summon an elemental hero monster from your extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Wow, it's the most convoluted access to Dark Law to ever be summoned. The best part of this card is that the first effect destroys monsters by card effect, and the second one wants you to destroy monsters by battle. Absolutely amazing design on that card, the pinnacle of intelligence used to create this masterpiece. It has anti-synergy with itself. But hey, it's got 3,500 attack, right? That's a fucking reach. Not a whole lot to say on this one. I can't believe Neos got an underwhelming card. Truly, this is a first for the archetype. Oh yeah, sponsor time. That's right, shoutouts as always go to the sponsor of today's video, the LIFD Magnetic Display. If you're looking for an easy access to a fantastic means to display some of your favorite cards, including an absolutely useless Neos fusion that you've pulled, look no farther than this. This is a great and affordable way to display your cards, and you can get it even more affordable by using code YGOSTRATS15 for 15% off on your purchase or by clicking the link in the description. Thanks, as always, to LIFD for the sponsor, and that's it. We're done now. That wraps it up for the new card report. As always, I've been your host, Gregory Feganite. And make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife and so that you too can become a true duelist.